start. Yes, it worked.
Wow.
So,
Donna and I were talking offline before we initiated this, hoping that our technology would work. It looks like it is. I just ask you as our participants here to confirm that you can hear me and Donna. So Donna, you want to say a few words?
Yeah, I'm here too.
Okay, good. And hey, tell us where you're checking in from. We always love to see that, and what the weather's like.
You know what, Mike?
Yeah.
We should also tell people that they need to switch from all panelists to everyone. I think it's everyone.
Correct.
Yeah. So instead of sending your message to all panelists, send it to everyone. So
yeah, let's do that. So at the bottom of the chat, you'll see that little drop-down arrow. Click on that, change it to everyone. That way you can see, because it's true, Don and I are getting some feedback, actually a lot of feedback from people directly speaking to us. I see Atlanta's checking in. Atlanta, hopefully it's warm and not warm, but warmer. Manitoba's here in the house. Michigan, Dalton, Georgia. What else do you see, Donna?
I just saw someone from the UK. I see Ithaca. I love Ithaca, New York. Yay, Ithaca.
And in the 60s in Ithaca, nonetheless.
Yeah.
Here it's 54 degrees. India is in the house in Indianapolis.
No relation. Lot of IN.
No relation.
Austin, Texas. That's awesome.
Debbie,
40 degrees. 40 degrees in Michigan. It's cold.
Thank you for the folks from India checking in from the UK. We know it's a little later hour out there. We're going to make this a valuable hour to you. Again, if you're just joining us, just want to invite you to share where you're checking in from. At the bottom of the chat, change it to everyone so they can see. Audrey, thanks for your kind comment about my book, Profit First. And Portugal's here. Thanks, Ray, for joining. Let me just set the stage. You are here for the more impact, more money, and more time for business coaches event. And that will help. I want to know, what is your profession? If you're a business coach, post in the chat, I'm a coach. But if you're an accountant or bookkeeper or in a different industry, just tell us what you do. 9 degrees Celsius, a little bit chilly in the UK for Miguel. One other thing before we get started is I do want to invite you to turn off the distractions. We're going to go maximally till the top of the hour, so 60 minutes. We are going to pack this with input knowledge you can use in your business. I think you're going to be blown away by some of the stuff that Donna has to share. We're going to do an interview format. I have questions written down here for her to answer. She really transformed my perception of how coaches work, and I think she'll do the same for you. And we are the co-founders of Pumpkin Plan Your Biz. We are going to invite you in toward the tail end of this to consider and apply for Pumpkin Plan membership as a Pumpkin Plan strategist. It is something you must apply for. This isn't something you can't just sign up and say, now I'm in. You have to go through an interview process. This is representing the book I wrote, our brand as an organization. So we will invite you to do that. And if you're not interested in that, don't worry about it. We do have some additional information we're going to provide afterwards. All this stuff collectively, we hope will transform your business. And Don, what did you see as the collective of folks that are here? I saw coaches. What did you see?
I was so busy listening to you talk. I wasn't paying attention. I do see a lot of coaches and consultants. Awesome. Maybe the accountants and bookkeepers are a little busy this week, Mike. We didn't think about that when we scheduled this.
Correct.
Here in the US anyway, the tax deadline is it April 18th this year? I think
it is.
Yeah. So some of the accountants and bookkeepers might be watching the replay later. We do get a lot of accountants and bookkeepers who are expanding their business into coaching and consulting as well. So anyway, shout out. Oh, I see some business owners out there too. I think we've got good information for you that you can walk away with as well. Should we get started, Mike?
Yeah, let's get right into it. Everyone, thank you for being here so promptly. I do want to invite you to turn off any distractions. So that cell phone, email, it's easy to try to multitask and hopefully glean some tips. I've yet to find that ever to work. So our commitment is to make this very valuable for you. I do want to give a little background on myself, and then Don, I'm going to flip it over to you to share your story of why we're talking about this and why this is so important. When I wrote the Pumpkin Plan, which is now its 10-year anniversary and selling its highest levels ever, the book continues to grow in popularity. There was a very significant reason I needed to write it, because I needed that solution. Just as a background for me, I was in the IT space. I was a computer guy, and I had always grown the business. And tell me in the chat if you can relate to this. I always grew the business out of hustle and grind. I found that if I worked harder and harder, I could make more money until I kind of hit a ceiling. There was diminishing returns. Harder work didn't seem to drive the business much further forward. I needed to find ways to scale it. But unlike the stories I was hearing, I couldn't raise money or get funds. I had to do it organically. I hired a coach. His name was Frank Minutolo, and he started to share strategies that became the foundation for the pumpkin plan. In fact, he's the one who invited me to go to a pumpkin patch to study this. You see, when you look at what Mother Nature's figured out over the billions of years that she's been working on her strategies, those things can be biomimicked, translated into our business applications. And that's how the pumpkin plan came about. What I found is it's very possible for me and you to organically grow a healthy business. And this model that we're going to introduce you to and touch on is a model that you can deploy with your customers to trigger the same kind of response. The last thing I want to share about this story is there is a faction of pumpkin farmers, they call themselves colossal pumpkin farmers, who change the strategy just a little bit from the ordinary pumpkin farmer, and the pumpkin responds with extraordinary growth. That's the lesson I hope you discover today is you don't need to change everything in your business. You don't need to change everything in your clients' businesses. Just with a subtle shift, but a strategic shift, you can have explosive organic growth. Well, this book came to, as I was writing it, an immediate need to find an extraordinary partner to deliver this on a service basis. See, there's a lot of people who read books and try to DIY it. A portion of those people, now a growing portion of those people say, I don't think I'm doing it right. I want to make sure I'm doing it right. And they want the guidance of someone who's going to not just show them the process correctly, but also hold them accountable. And that's what brought about our organization. Donna, why don't you share more about yourself and the organization?
Absolutely, Mike. So I definitely, we came together at a time that I feel like it was fate. Honestly, it was fate when I met you. I was an entrepreneur turned business coach. And I knew that I had the skills and the knowledge and the expertise to help a lot of small businesses. But to be honest, I was struggling. And when I first started coaching, I struggled just to explain to business owners what I could do for them. It was really hard for me to establish credibility because I didn't have any results yet, right? Like I was a brand new business coach. But then when I figured out how to get clients, and now I have all these clients and I should have been humming along really happily, I was still feeling frustrated because I was just constantly reinventing the wheel with every client. I was spending a ton of time prepping and planning and doing research. And I worried all the time about, was I going to get good results with this next client? Was it going to be consistent? It was exhausting and it was not a very efficient use of my time at all. And I'm guessing that most of you on this webinar today can relate to the fact that I have a passion for helping small business owners find success. Like it's what I love to do. And that's where Mike and I really connected, by the way, when we first met, was this shared love of small business and helping small businesses in any way we could. So, you might be able to relate to that. I would guess that a lot of you can, but perhaps you can also relate to my frustrations. Just post yes in the chat if you relate to that passion and my mission for helping small businesses thrive. And also if you relate to the frustration of not being able to do as much as you think you should be doing.
Lots of yeses coming in.
Okay.
Lots of yeses and absolutelys.
Okay. So I'm a pretty typical story. So eventually I realized what I was missing. I needed a system. I needed a framework that I could work off of so that I could feel like I was able to get consistent results. So what I had was a lot of knowledge and skills, but no real systematic way to present it or to work towards a specific result. So at that point, I just started looking around for something. And that was when a mutual colleague introduced me to Mike. So like I said, it was fate. I kind of put it out there in the universe and Mike showed up and he was about to publish the Pumpkin Plan. And And yes, this is I can hardly believe it. This is the 10-year anniversary of the publishing of the Pumpkin Plan. And as Mike said, sales are still going incredibly strong. So at the time, 10 years ago, I read an advanced copy. I knew immediately I could create an effective coaching program around these concepts. Like I just really related to the ideas in this book. So remember this, Mike, we launched our business and started working with clients together.
Yeah,
and
totally.
We're like, let's go get some clients. So we did. Yeah. And we developed tools as we went along. So we developed additional tools in addition to what was in the book. We tested them. We learned what worked and what didn't work. And the result was what is today the Pumpkin Plan Action Guide. And that is a step-by-step system of removing those obstacles to growth that a lot of small businesses run into and setting the business up to execute on a strategy that produces profitable growth and time freedom for the business owner. So that was totally cool because now I had a clear result to talk about and a path to get there. So as soon as we were like, hey, we have this program, something amazing started to happen. It suddenly became like super easy to describe to potential clients the process that they were going to go through, the results they would get, the transformation that they were going to achieve if they worked with me through this program. So my coaching suddenly became tangible to my prospects and clients. And the process of working with them became so much easier because I had the tools at my fingertips in the order that they should go in. And I had the confidence, like I knew that I was going to get great results. I will admit the first few times, every time it worked, I was like, wow, look at that. It worked again. But then I started to see it worked again and again and again. We knew at that point that we had something that was repeatable. So then we stopped again and we said, how can we make the biggest impact possible on the business world? And the answer that we came up with was, let's teach and license the Pumpkin Plan process to other business coaches and consultants so that they can grow their clients' businesses and their own businesses and just multiply that impact over and over again.
I am taking notes here. So when people see me writing down, this is how I take notes. Just a reminder, there's so many people that have joined since we started. Reminder just for everyone, I invite you to turn off distractions. Of course, it's fully your choice, but we want you to engage and be service to this call. And also in the chat, change it to everyone if you're posting comments in the chat so other people can see your feedback. Donna, what I wrote down as we're talking is you mentioned that time we walked in, we were doing the coaching together. I was riffing off in ideas, but you were codifying ideas. You were building a framework. Why is it so important to have a framework, particularly for coaches? And why is it missing in so many coaching businesses?
Yeah, well, one of the biggest challenges with enrolling clients in a coaching or consulting engagement is that coaching just isn't tangible. It's not like, this cup here, like you can sort of look at the features and say to somebody, like, you give me some money and here you get this cup. So what happens is prospective clients are often really nervous to invest in coaching because it's just hard to define the return on their investment. So, and sometimes they may not even see it as an investment. They see it as an expense. And that's not good because then they're deciding, like they're looking at you as like, it's a nice to have and not a have to have. A lot of business owners know they need help, but they're just worried that they don't know what they're getting for their money. So when I first started coaching, I would talk to prospective clients about all the squishy things, like how I could support them. And I'm going to be your sounding board and I'm going to help you address all your challenges as they come up and help you solve any problems that you have. It was so vague and open-ended and really hard to sell. And I may be exaggerating a little bit, but it really is hard to sell something that's not defined. So once I had a clearly defined program, it became really easy to talk about what they would get out of working with me in a clear, understandable way. And being clear about the problems that I'm going to help them solve and how we're going to do that. Also, this is really cool. it enabled me to attract the exact clients that I wanted to work with. I didn't have to like sit there going, where did this person come from? I'm sure you've all had clients that are like that.
I love to ask in the chat. So just kind of sharing what Donna just, or I want to get feedback on this, but have you in our room here, post in the chat, have you experienced that when you don't have a codified or specific strategy that you kind of get this onslaught of customers, big customer variety? Just tell us, have you experienced that?
And here's the one other thing that really made a difference, or it made a difference too. When you have access to a process that really works, you have the ability to consistently create high value for your clients. And when you're creating high value for your clients, you can receive high value for your services because they see the value in what you're doing for them and they're willing to pay for that. And it's a win-win because they're getting value out of it. And so are you.
As I'm looking at the chat, Donna, just Michael said, absolutely, that variety. Jennifer says all over the map. Carrie says, yes, I'm learning to narrow it down. Tina says, yes, my mood of the day changes my what I do story, which is not good. Yeah, which is very common. I took down some notes about, I love that point you said, not tangible. And when just to get clarity on this, when something's not tangible, it's kind of ethereal, it's manipulative. Does that cause the customer, does that trigger hesitancy in their decision? Does it cause pricing to be over the place? What's the response of a prospect when they can't put your hands on that mug that you showed?
What I found is this limbo that you go into, where they just procrastinate making a decision because it feels too overwhelming for them. That's one symptom of it not being tangible for them. They just put it off. They don't say no, but they don't say yes either.
Let's ask that in the chat. Of your prospects, just roughly guessing, what percentage of prospects go into a limbo state where it's not a yes, it's not a no? What's the percentage experience? Post that in the chat. Donna, I wrote down the next question for you is around the Pumpkin Plan Action Guide specifically. This was I'm using the word codify a lot today, but it's the word, you took the work that we did in the Pumpkin Plan, which is tip of the iceberg, the work we did collectively in consulting, and the work that Pumpkin Plan strategists are using, and you put into the action guide. So can you tell us more what that is, what significance that plays?
So I meant to have our original action guide and I forgot to dig it out. So originally it was a binder full of tools and worksheets, but now everything's online. And it's been, this has been a really powerful tool for our strategists and for small businesses over the past 10 years. Mostly because what I've found is most businesses start with an idea. They have a great idea and the founders hit the ground running. We know what entrepreneurs are like. They're doers. So they hit the ground and they start doing. And if it's a good idea, the business is going to grow in the beginning. They're going to have some success. But at some point, most businesses get stuck and they can't go any further. And really, the business is stuck because it doesn't have an underlying strategy. Mm-hmm. They never stop to create strategy. They're just using, and I shouldn't say just, they're using tactics, and tactics without an underlying strategy can only take you so far. And that's where the Pumpkin Plan and Pumpkin Plan strategists come in, because the certified Pumpkin Plan strategists are able to use our tools to guide their business clients through a step-by-step process that develops an underlying winning strategy. And once a business understands its underlying strategy, it then has the foundation to build on, and all of its tactics and decisions stem from that strategy. You're not sitting there going, what should I decide today? Everything comes from your strategy, and those decisions become much more successful.
There's my big tip of the day already. I have it circled on my piece of paper. It says tactics minus strategy equals stunted growth.
You're so good at formulas, Mike.
But that's what you just said. That's really interesting. Yeah. Also in the chat, Donna, when we asked how many of our prospects go into limbo state, Mike said 40%. Pete was 25 to 35%. Yeah. Michael says about half. Temsa Quant, I think I hope you said your name correctly, says 20%. Anna 35%. It's interesting. Frank 50%. Same experience. I understand now. go in with a very specific strategy and you narrow down exactly how you're going to be of service, there's much more clarity to the customer.
Yes.
But I wrote down a question is, does the strategy apply to every business? And because I saw in the chat, businesses of all types here, or
Yes.
clientele of all type.
Yes.
So does this strategy apply to all business, or is it limited?
So that's really the beauty of the Pumpkin Plan program. The process of determining your underlying strategy is essentially the same for every business. It can be applied to most types of businesses, but the actual strategy that you develop using that process is going to be different for every business. So every business will have its own unique strategy. So it's a way for you to combine sort of process with customization at the same time.
I'm thinking the businesses that may not apply to would be government agencies because their model's so radically different. I know you and I were talking about the sweet spot, and you said, I want to pull a miracle and try to do a PowerPoint. And we're like, oh, we hope this works. Do you have that PowerPoint? And can you share more about the sweet spot and the strategy you're talking about?
Yes, I can. Okay.
Fingers crossed here.
I know I practiced, but sometimes it gets a little clunky. So everybody bear with me. But I just want to just explain take 2 minutes to explain the sweet spot, and then I'm going to visually show it. So the Pumpkin Plan, as Mike said earlier, it's based on an idea that you maybe make some very small tweaks to how to grow a pumpkin, and you can end up with a giant 1-ton pumpkin instead of a little ordinary pumpkin. It is based on the idea starting with a special seed. You have to start with a special seed to grow a giant pumpkin. You cannot go to your local farm store or even the supermarket and grab a packet of pumpkin seeds and scatter them in the ground and expect that one of them is going to turn into a 1-ton pumpkin. It won't happen because you need a seed. And we know Mike's done his research. These seeds are extremely expensive. You need a seed that has the capacity to grow to that giant 1-ton size. The same is true in your business. In your business, we call that seed your sweet spot. And that sweet spot, when you're in your sweet spot, you have the capacity to grow exponentially. When you are in your sweet spot, growth stops being hard. So what I want to do is show this to you visually. Sometimes we have Mike draw it on a piece of paper, but today we are going to attempt the PowerPoint. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off my video, so we're not going to distract you with our little images in the corner of the screen. And then I'm going to go to the PowerPoint.
Looks like it's coming up. You did it.
I did it. Okay. So this is our, this is our first slide. And then I'm going to go to the PowerPoint. To the sweet spot slide. So in order to be in your sweet spot, you need to have 3 things. And those 3 things are represented by these 3 rings in this diagram. The first thing you need is an identifiable market niche comprised of your top clients. That means, who are your very best clients? You have to know who they are and as much as you can find out about them. The second ring is unique offering. You need a unique offering that your top clients want, need, and care about. So in other words, not just any unique offering, but a unique offering that aligns with what your top clients want. The third ring is systemization. You need the systems and processes to deliver that unique offering consistently. So as you can see in this diagram, all 3 of these need to be present and overlapping or intersecting in order to be in your sweet spot. In other words, they have to align with each other for you to grow. Because here's what happens if maybe you only have 2 of those, but not all 3. So let's say you have a unique offering, but your top clients just don't care about it. Or maybe you don't even know who your top clients are. Then you have a mismatch and you will have trouble attracting clients and customers. Basically, nobody cares. If you have a defined niche of top clients, but your offering is not unique, or what makes you unique isn't something that they care about, then you will look like a commodity and you're going to experience pressure to discount or lower your prices to attract customers. You're experiencing price pressure. Let's say you have a unique offering that your top clients care about, but you don't have good systems and processes in place. Then you're not going to be able to consistently deliver your product or service at higher volumes, making it pretty much impossible to grow and scale. You're basically trading dollars for hours because you can only grow if you, the business owner, are there working. So when you have a unique offering that your top client niche really wants and needs, and you have the systems, processes, and people in place to consistently and reliably deliver that offering to your top clients, you're in your sweet spot and you have the potential for exponential growth. So our certified pumpkin plan strategists have all of the tools and support at their fingertips to guide their clients to find and grow their sweet spot, which is that place where all three of these elements intersect. So I also want to point out that this process does not just apply to your clients' businesses, it also applies to your own. When our strategists identify their own top clients, define their unique offering in a way that resonates with those top clients, and they use the Pumpkin Plan Action Guide as their coaching system, they're growing their own businesses into giant pumpkins as well. Okay, so now I'm going to stop the share.
I came back on my camera.
You came back here.
Yep.
And
we're getting good at this. We're getting good at this.
We are. Hopefully, yeah. So what's up next for us, Mike? What are we talking about?
I want to point out a comment that came into the prior conversation. We're talking about tactics minus strategy equals stunted growth, what I wrote down. Gary said, so you guys bring up a good point about strategy. From the viewpoint of a client of a coach who didn't have a strong strategy, I was overwhelmed with mundane info and no real path to profit, a discussion missing in many strategies. Yeah, so I do want to ask about this. It seems that people revert to the tactics they know, and maybe I'm being a little judgmental here. And I've hired coaches. I believe in nothing more than coaches in the past, but they come in with a preordained set of this is what I know, and let's apply it. But they didn't find the relevancy. They didn't find the strategy. With that sweet spot, does that help you kind of pinpoint on the area where we get started with a client? How do we leverage that to be of service?
Yeah, well, what we try to do is we take a coaching approach. So we have a whole suite of tools, but the coaching approach says, let's ask questions and learn as much as we can before we offer any solutions. So we do have, for example, we have a sweet spot assessment that's part of the program that will show you where your client is already strong and where they really need to improve or where they really need to do some work. And that gives you a sense of where to start. And we, of course, have our own process of saying, you can start from clinic 1. We have 10 growth clinics and work all the way through clinic 10, or you can meet your client where they are. But it really is important to so many business coaches or marketing professionals will say to me, I ask my clients basic questions about their strategy and they don't know the answer. So that's really where we come in. We help them take a step back and work on their business versus, oh, let me do some more Facebook ads, or maybe what I need is hire a PR firm, or, I just need to buy that cool new piece of software. And they always think that that's going to solve the problem, but most of the time it doesn't, because it goes back to not having the strategy.
I love the coach approach. And I can testify this. When you work with Pumpkin Plan strategists and coach me, I've never met someone as talented as you as coaching coaches how to coach. This webinar
it's a tongue twister, Mike.
Coaching. This webinar is more money, more impact, more time. Tell me how this system, this process serves our coaches that are in the program. How do they get more money? How do you get more money, more impact, more time?
Yeah. Okay. So the key to more impact and money and time for business coaches, and I've been doing this for more than 10 years now, so I feel like I've really got it down. It's having that defined step-by-step coaching program that you can work from, that framework that provides consistent results. So it could be our program, or you could develop your own if you want to. But I want to start by talking about impact.
Okay.
Most coaches and consultants are truly passionate about making a difference and having an impact. Everybody that I talk to has a level of just passion for helping other people and really making a difference. Having that defined, documented process enables you to make an impact because it makes it easier, first of all, just to coach more clients. You're not spending all that time reinventing the wheel with each one. It's also easier to get better results for them. You have your process and you know it works. You're helping more business owners to stop struggling and start thriving. And that means you're improving their lives and their employees' lives. A thriving business is good for all of the stakeholders in that business: the owners, the employees, the clients, the vendors, the overall community. You're actually helping their business to continue to contribute to the economy and their communities. So over and over again, I just want to say, we hear from business owners that the Pumpkin Plan has changed their businesses and their lives for the better. One of our strategists just told us recently about the impact that the program has had on the businesses that she works with. And she was just telling me about using 2 out of our more than 40 tools, 2 guides that she worked through with all of her clients. That we have something called the vision story exercise. And then we have our top client assessment, which is in the book, and we've taken it and expanded it. And so we dive a little deeper in our program, but just doing those 2 assessments has sparked major light bulbs for her clients. They use the analysis that she was able to take them through to make changes and tweaks to their business model that makes their business run more smoothly, helps them attract more and better clients, builds greater profitability, and gives them back control of their time. So she's clearly making an impact by using a process. And one other story I want to tell, I just had the benefit of interviewing a client of one of our strategists, which is always fun. And when I asked her how pumpkin planning her business had affected her and her business, she told me that pumpkin planning actually made her a nicer person. I was like, wow, that's the first time I've heard that one. Tell me why. And she said, because after she pumpkin planned, she was so much happier in her business. She was working less hard. She was doing work she loved with people that she loved working with, and she was making more money. She was just nicer. She was happier and she was nicer.
It's so interesting how it becomes like steps up a ladder. Is once you're serving a community that you like and enjoy, there's not as much demand on your time. There's more demand maybe on your intellect and strategy, which is fun to do, and it starts elevating you. I do want to point out that I asked for our group, and I'd love to hear in the chat. Donna was saying impact for many coaches is such an important component. I'm curious for you in the chat, just post that. Like, are you doing this just for the money, or are you doing it for the impact too? Now, Donna, I didn't say just the money. So tell me about the money.
The money's
side.
important, Mike.
Yeah, right, you can't sustain
us
without it. I see impact coming in, but money's important. Tell me how the money aspect works. Can we dictate more by doing a specific strategy like the pumpkin plan?
Yes. So money is important because unless you are independently wealthy, you need money to live your lifestyle. And also, I really believe that as coaches and consultants, we should walk the talk. So we shouldn't be starving while we're helping our clients do great things. So when you have a proven program that you know works, that creates high value for your clients, you can create high value for your own business as well. It enables you to create that win-win because you're getting paid for the value you're delivering. You're not just getting paid random amounts of money. Your client is investing their money with you and getting a high return. And in turn, and because that feels more tangible to them, they are happy to pay you what your services, what your coaching, what your consulting is really worth. Another way that you make more money from having a process is, like I said, it's more tangible, which means that your marketing and sales are more effective and efficient. and you get a better return on your marketing investment, that increases your profitability. You make more money. So there are two ways to make more money. You can get more clients, or you could, like bring in more revenues, which is amazing. You want to do that, but you can also increase your profitability as well. It also becomes easier to show your prospects why they want to enroll in your program. And because you're operating more efficiently overall, you're just going to be more profitable. So you've got tools, worksheets, guides at your fingertips, and that also gives you the flexibility to structure your coaching in different ways, to leverage all of that material. You could do group programs. You could leverage your time and, do workshops, or you could do long-term coaching engagements. You have a lot of flexibility to structure your business the way you want to structure it.
I see questions are coming in. So we're going to answer those questions, but Miguel, I see yours. Tem Sen Kwa, I see yours. Nadine, I see yours. So your questions will be answered. Donna, we talked about, I'm just looking through my checklist here. We talked about money, we talked about impact. What about, you said more time. How can we leverage this to make more time?
Yeah. So we do all have the same number of hours in the day. Sure. So we cannot actually produce time. But again, when you have a process, I'm all about process. When you have a process, you're not spending your time reinventing the wheel, doing things that you've already done, or kind of taking time doing the things that are not making the big impact. When you have a process, you can spend your time creating value, and you gain back that time that you used to spend customizing each engagement. So you're gaining back your control of your time. And here's another big one. For anyone here who's been pricing your services by the hour, you can stop selling your time and start selling your program. When you sell a program based on results, you can benefit from efficiency, right? So if you get somebody results in a short amount of time, they're not going to pay you less. They're going to pay you based on the cost of your program and the results that you get. So yes, your time will be involved at different levels, but your income will not be directly tied to how many hours you work. So that gives you the ability to, as we love, Mike, to work less, make more, and still get stellar results for your clients. So that's like a win-win-win.
Oh yeah, that's the big impact.
Yeah. And then, like I said, working with your clients becomes easier because everything's at your fingertips. And you can also leverage your time again by not recreating content over and over and over again.
Yeah. And Anna just posted in the chat, she affirmed loves fixed pricing versus hourly, right? Because it's a win for both sides. It's not about milking the clock. It's about serving the client. So just to give context here for our guests, I've devoted my life to eradicate entrepreneurial poverty. And what that means to me is to collect ideas, write books, write the pumpkin plan, which is a way to simplify the process for the reader, but also acknowledge it's just scratching the surface. Donna has dedicated her career to going deep. Now, Donna, I think this is a good time to explain our program, because we did say in the beginning that we'd offer applications now. Can you tell them what the process is to be considered for pumpkin plan, be pumpkin plan strategists?
Yes. And I'm going to talk for a minute, and then I'm going to do this for the second time. I'm going to go
double PowerPoint today. Nice.
We're going to go back to the PowerPoint. We are, and hopefully it'll work again. All right. So basically, when you join our membership community, you go through our training in a small group cohort. We launch 2 cohorts each year, and we're about to start our next group in a few weeks. And we are really excited about it. Your training and certification has 2 parts. So it's comprised of 2 segments. We have a self-paced series of training videos and certification quizzes. And then we also have live on Zoom interactive training sessions. That's where you get to ask your questions and interact with the other people in your group. And we give you feedback and all of that great stuff. So we are looking for 20 people to join our next training cohort that starts next month. And like I said, that's a small environment. You're not going to be one of hundreds in your group. You will always get your questions answered, and there are lots of ways to get your questions answered. So what we provide you with really is the knowledge, tools, and support to coach small businesses to grow profitably and efficiently, giving the owner, your client, the time and financial freedom that they really dream of, and they probably have been dreaming of since they started their business. I do want to be clear. This is not a one and done program where you go through the course and walk away like with your certificate. We're looking for long-term partners who want to pumpkin plan their own businesses and incorporate the delivery of the pumpkin plan program into their core business offerings. So in order to maintain your certification and continue to use our tools and guides and have all the access to all the support that we provide you in your business, you have to remain a member in good standing. Okay. Should I jump
do it?
to
And
the...
it just ties in because I know you have the PowerPoint. Paul asked a question about what's the pros or cons of joining Pumpkin Plan. So I think this actually may fit in perfectly right now.
Did he know he was supposed to ask that question right now?
Maybe.
Okay. So I'm going to go back to the PowerPoint. Give me 1 second. I'm just going to turn off.
Tamsin Kwa is asking something similar about what's the advantages, interested in joining in South Africa. So we'll talk about, we call it international membership. If you're outside the US, I guess we're all international, but we'll answer that question too while you pull up the PowerPoint.
Okay. So I'm going to turn off my video, and you need to go away too, Mike.
Okay. Here it is. There, I'm gone.
And here we are back at the PowerPoint. It worked again.
Amazing.
2 for 2. Okay. So first of all, when you go through our certification program, you're going to go through a very robust interactive training program that's going to give you the skills and confidence that you need to stand out in the small business coaching arena. During the training, we also help you to pumpkin plan your own business. I'm sorry, I hit my mic. I know it sounds really bad when I do that.
It wasn't that loud. It's fine.
Anyway, so we do help you to pumpkin plan your own business so that you can define a niche and become an in-demand, high-value expert. And here's some fun pictures over the years. As a matter of fact, over the past 9 years, we've seen a lot of our strategists start by applying the pumpkin plan strategies to their own business and quickly grow their client base and their income. I'm going to give you some examples. So Darren owns an accounting firm, and he combines actually all 3 of Mike's certifications, the Pumpkin Plan, Profit First, and Fix This Next, with his accounting services to stand out in a way that no business can compare him to any other accounting firm in his area. He's experienced exponential growth in his business in the few years since he started offering the combined programs, and his clients are getting amazing results as well. Geraldine joined us. She had a coaching business. She still does, but she wasn't really satisfied with how she was doing. She wanted more growth and more income. So she applied the Pumpkin Plan strategies to her own business and her clients' businesses. And she blew me away. She went from just doing okay to having a full coaching full coaching practice with a waiting list, tripling her income within a year. Some of our other members, such as Sabrina and Michelle, have experienced so much success with the program that they're sending their team members through the program to get certified as well, so that they can expand how many clients they deliver the program to. Christine has started a second business with a partner just to focus on serving the niche that she identified as her top clients by pumpkin planning her own business. So for every coach or consultant who has struggled to figure out, how do I bring on associates? How do I scale my business and clone myself without compromising our results? Having a system and a training program at your fingertips gives you the ability to do that, to clone yourself and scale your business. Okay, so here's what you get with your membership. Within the program, you receive full access to the Pumpkin Plan Action Guide. That's the product that you use with your clients, which contains about 40 different business tools, guides, and training videos for your clients. So no more reinventing the wheel for you. And you also got within that, you also get full access to the Pumpkin Plan Academy. So the Pumpkin Plan Action Guide is inside the Pumpkin Plan Academy, but the Pumpkin Plan Academy has tools and resources for growing your coaching business. And it also contains the training program. Okay, so once you earn your certification, so you have the ability to earn certification in our program, you'll have the benefit of the credibility that goes with that and the name recognition. Mike just keeps churning out those books, and that's good for all of us. You also gain the ability to point to proven results using a proven program. So even if you're just starting out, you can show people that this program has a track record. Okay. So I also want to talk about who's a good fit for the strategist program.
Yeah, go into it.
Yeah, because you may be wondering, is this a fit for me or not a fit? So basically, the first thing that I always say is you need business experience. I'm assuming everyone on this call has business experience, but you need to have a certain level of business background to come into this. So you might be an entrepreneur who's turning into a business coach like I was. And a lot of times that happens when you get to a point in your career where you say, I want to give back. You might be a small business professional, like a bookkeeper, accountant, a marketer who wants to add business growth coaching and growth strategy to what you offer your clients. Or maybe you're already a business coach or a consultant, and you recognize the value of having a done for you program, a system, tools at your fingertips. You don't want to spend the weeks and months creating your own program. Our Pumpkin Plan strategists are all lifelong learners. They are always looking for new and better ways to do things. They love to learn. You want the tools to scale and grow your own thriving business coaching business. You want the credibility of a proven program, as we mentioned, and the training to use that program so that you can get exceptional results and create exceptional value. You want to make more money as a result of creating high value for your clients. And last, but certainly not least, you share our passion for supporting small businesses around the world. Okay. Next steps?
Yeah, let's go into next steps. Do you want me to take the camera, put the cameras back on? Or
nope, not yet.
All right, I'll just do a quick wave. Keep going.
I wanted to put this up here so people can see.
Yes, I'll share that too.
Okay, so as I mentioned, we have a new training cohort that's starting in a few weeks. And if you feel like you are ready to join us, or you might be ready to join us, go to pumpkinplanyourbiz.com/application to start the process and fill out an application. Once you submit that application, you're going to get an email from me asking you to book an appointment for an informational interview with me. And during that appointment, we're going to see if the program is a good fit for you and if you're a good fit for us, because we're all about fit. If the fit is right, we will tell you how to join and get started on your certification and learning journey. Okay, so here's the big question. I'm wondering if anybody's already asked this.
Pete did.
Pete asked
price.
Price. Yes. Okay. So I'm going to say, if this program is the right fit for you, there are two options for investing. It's a membership organization, as I mentioned, which means that you must remain a member in good standing to continue to access and use our tools and support and say that you're certified in the program. So like I said, you don't pay, get your certification and walk away, but we do continue to support you and work with you as long as you're a member. So there are two ways to join. You can either join on an annual membership or a monthly membership. The annual membership is non-refundable. So once you pay for the year, you're in for the year. And it's $4,997 US, and that's renewable at that same rate next year. Or you can do the monthly membership, which is $475 per month. Now, if you know that you're ready to act quickly, you can take advantage of our decisive action bonus. So here's how that works. You set up an interview with me. Within a week, if you make a decision within a week of having your interview with me, so not a week from today, but a week from having your interview, the annual membership actually becomes $4,397 per year, renewable at that same rate next year. So that's a savings of $600 if you can do the quick math. Or the monthly membership goes to $425 per month, also a savings of $600 per year. So here's what I'm going to say. If you're just kicking the tires and you know that there's no way that you're ready to join yet, even if you think this program is like the best thing since sliced bread and it's the perfect fit for you, but you're not ready to do it now, do not apply yet. You won't be able to take advantage of our decisive action bonus if you do that. So I would say if this sounds really interesting to you, but sometime way off in the future, just wait until you're ready and get back in touch with us. However, if you know that the timing is right now and you want to determine if this program is the right fit for you, please go ahead and apply now. We do have a limited number of spots available because, like we said, we'd like to keep the classes small. So if you're ready, don't wait. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to the live video. Let's see how smoothly I can do this.
You got
I'm
it.
back.
And questions have been coming in. Thank you for sharing those details. I also, just so everyone knows, in the chat is the link if you want to apply. I'd be honored to work with you. Donna and I'd be honored to work with you. But let me ask some of the questions. So I've been copying and pasting and trying to write notes, so I'm a little bit out of sorts here. But Pete asked a question. He says, do you have any experiences of working with IT business coaches? I'm mostly fully booked with clients, but I do with some more structure for my clients. Any success stories of working with tech coaches or that space?
So I think what I'm understanding is that I'm sorry, what was the name of the person?
He's an IT business coach. So he works
right.
with
So he works with IT businesses, yeah. Right? So yes, we do. The IT industry needs a lot of help is what I've discovered. We do get a lot of IT companies looking for help. And yes. And as a matter of fact, one of our coaches, he used to own his own IT company. He sold it. And then he became a business coach, and he focuses on two industries, but mostly IT. He also works with attorneys. I don't know why, but he does. Yeah. But he's had so much business that he actually recently brought on a partner, and he's doing amazing things. So yes, this program definitely works for IT companies and coaches who work in the IT space. And Mike used to be in IT.
Yeah. So quick, and then we'll go to the next question is Robin Robbins, if you're familiar with that group, Technology Marketing Toolkit, they deployed the pumpkin plan as the preferred strategy for growth of their 1,500 members. So there's a lot of testimonials to the impact Profit First. I keep saying Profit First, that pumpkin plan has had. When you write multiple books,
I know. All over the place. It's like your kids. You ever call your kids by the wrong names?
Yeah, I do. But they chose the pumpkin plan as the preferred strategy. Carrie says, my problem is I'm starting to offer mentoring, but I also just launched a new service to our business, which is growing fast, and try to balance the two. Some of my clients will become coaching clients. It's exciting and overwhelming is the point she gets to. Any direction on when you're feeling that overwhelm, what to do, Donna?
Yeah. So if I'm understanding this correctly, she's adding mentoring to another business. Too, yep. In my experience, it is really hard to focus fully on two things at once. Yeah. So the strategists who come to us who have a business, an existing business in another type of business, like it's not a coaching business, but it's running itself. Like they've gotten it to the point where they're not needed in the business, then they can focus on the coaching. I I do talk to a lot of really well-meaning business owners who say, I want to share what I know. I want to mentor people. But they usually end up getting sucked back into their business, and it does get overwhelming. So as much as I would love to say, no, join us, I really think you have to think hard about the amount of time that you will need to invest to get a coaching business up and running, or a mentoring business up and running.
Michael says, I'm working with nonprofits and churches. I'm looking at pumpkin plan. My business, not so much theirs. What's the suggestion? Hire a pumpkin plan strategist.
Yeah.
All right. And we'll introduce you to some. Go to Pumpkin Plan Your Biz and we'll hook you up. Nadine says, if I'm just starting as a consultant in a specialized industry, what recommendation, Donna, do you have to identify who my top clients would be and what they want?
Okay. So do you have any clients? I would need to talk to you more. We have our top client assessment that assumes that you have a client list to evaluate. If you're just starting out and you have no clients, the best thing to do is to see how many of those clients, those companies that appear to you to be ideal clients for you, how many of them you could get to just talk to you. A lot of people are really happy to share their knowledge and their wisdom, and go in and ask them questions and get an understanding of what their real needs are, what their challenges are, and how you can help them, and start to get a feel for what the fit is. But I will tell you that sometimes you have to kiss a lot of frogs before you find the prince, right? So you have to start somewhere. And what I'm going to say about the pumpkin plan in particular is it's an iterative process. So you don't do it once and then you're done. So you might do that top client assessment every 6 months, and you refine it and you refine it and you refine it.
Yeah. Big thank you from Nadine. This came in from Tammy. She said, I'm mispronouncing her name so much. I can just call her Tammy. She says, I'm in South Africa and I love this method. Can I use this in South Africa? So there's an international request. What's the input there, Donna?
Of course, you absolutely can. I will say that in the past, when I've spoken with other potential strategists in South Africa, the challenge has been the exchange rate. I know that if you have a client base that you can get a return on your investment, I would say, absolutely, we would love to have representation in South Africa. But I understand that around the world, there are different countries where the exchange rate makes it really difficult. So I would evaluate how many clients would you have to have in order to make this worthwhile.
And the book, just which is a marketing source, does circulate in South Africa. It's available. Yeah. Next question came in from Miguel, I should say. We're looking to create an educational program for kids in entrepreneurship. Interesting. Would this help? So what I'm hearing is not necessarily pumpkin planning the students, but introducing students to the concept of the pumpkin plan. Could a strategist do that too?
Absolutely. I love that, because so many of the strategies in the pumpkin plan are in some ways counterintuitive, but they're the most powerful strategies, such as narrow who you're speaking to as opposed to widening who you're speaking to. So I love the idea of teaching these concepts to young entrepreneurs who can start out with this knowledge that a lot of business owners are just winging it when they first start.
Last question. We got 1 minute. Over time, this is from Pete again, with long-term clients, I found that you drift off course and get dragged back into the weeds on the day-to-day.
Yes.
It pulls off track. How do you stay on track? How do you deal with that? You got 30 seconds.
I'm just going to tell you that we work on that with you. We teach you, we have the tools, and we show you the places where you could potentially go down rabbit holes with our tools and how to bring them back. And we also work on strategies. What happens if your client hires you to work on their business and they keep sucking you into their daily problems, and how you can set up your sessions with your client so that you don't get distracted in every meeting. So that is something that we help you with.
Great. Final words before we wrap it up for today.
My final words are just, we're so passionate about this because we've seen so much success for our clients, for our strategist clients, but also for our strategists. And Can I just, Mike, I know we're out of time, but I did have a testimonial that I wanted to read. So maybe
why don't we wrap
would
it on
be
that testimonial,
great.
then we'll call it a day.
Yeah. So this is Darren Sayafi, and he says, for years, I've been looking for the right tools to offer my clients to help them grow their business. Most programs I've worked with do not provide the tools, training, and support that Pumpkin Plan Your Biz does. Donna has not only put together a great program for coaches, but she's also created a great team that has allowed me to bring my advisory services to the next level. Being part of the Pumpkin Plan Your Biz family and a Pumpkin Plan advisor has been a tremendous boost to my business and my client offerings. So please, if you asked a question that didn't get answered, you can email me at donna@pumpkinplanyourbiz.com. And we would love, if this sounds like something that you are ready for, or you are excited about it and you want more details, please fill out an application, pumpkinplanyourbiz.com/application. Oh, right, and I see some friendly faces out there too. Some of our strategists are on the call and saying hi.
I love it. Thank you everyone for joining today. I am wishing you tremendous success in your coaching journey. I'd be honored for myself and Donna to be part of it. If it's not appropriate, I understand too. Just wishing you tremendous success in your journey. All right, we're done. See y'all.